Good morning, students. Welcome to your economics class. Students, in our last class, we have started the third chapter from your economics part, that is money and credit. So, in our last class, we began the class by analyzing the learning objectives of the chapter, and then we introduced ourselves to the chapter in a formal manner. We discussed how the people in the primitive ages collected the things that they needed through the process of hunting and gathering. Since their demands were very limited at that time, they did not felt the need of having any kind of exchange system. But with the dawn of civilization, gradually their needs began to increase, and now they wanted a proper system through which they can exchange the various goods. So they wanted to have an exchange system, which led to the development of the barter system. So students, barter system essentially means the system in which goods and services are exchanged for other goods and services. It doesn't need any kind of medium of exchange. Money is not needed in barter system. So this is the first and foremost benefit of the barter system. The other benefits of barter system are, since a barter system essentially leads to the exchange of goods and services, it means that people's requirements can be fulfilled instantly without any delay. Also students, barter system is easier because in barter system it leads to a harmonious relationship among the people, because the people need to communicate, they need to meet each other to have their goods exchanged. So this leads to a harmonious relationship among the members of the community. It also doesn't require any medium of exchange. So barter system was an easy system of exchange, and it was the oldest exchange system. But the barter system has certain disadvantages as well. For example, there is a problem of divisibility. The goods that are exchanged in the barter system, most of the goods are very difficult to be divided. As I have already given you an example, it is very difficult to divide the value of an elephant in order to exchange it with some rice or with some wheat, right? So the problem of divisibility is there, problem of store of value is there, the problem of transfer of value is there, and the most important problem of barter system is the double coincidence of want. So double coincidence of want means both the parties have to agree to exchange each other's goods. So if there are two persons, A and B, if A has stone tools and B has wheat, A wants the wheat, so for that A needs to exchange the stone tool that he has with B. But it is also necessary that B should also want the stone tool that A has. Otherwise, the system of exchange won't take place. So there has to be a double coincidence of want. Both the parties shall agree to exchange each other's goods and services. This is the essence of the barter system, without which the barter system is very difficult to work out. So students, these were the topics that we discussed in our last class. So today we are going to continue with the same topic, that is the evolution of the various phases of money. So in today's class, our learning objectives shall be to know about how money has evolved through the primitive ages. In our last class, we came to know about the barter system. Today we shall be knowing, or we shall be studying about the various primitive forms of money. The second important objective is to make ourselves aware of the various forms of money which were used in the earlier times. So students, today's class shall also enable us to know about the various forms of money that were being used by the people in those times. The third important objective is that it will help us to develop an understanding about the features of these primitive forms of money. That means we will not only gather knowledge of about these various forms of money, but we shall also be able to know into deep about these various forms of money. So students, shall we begin with our today's class? The first form of money that was used in the primitive ages was commodity money. That means any commodity which was useful or which had a common utility and which was demanded by the people at the time can be used as money. So commodity was used as a medium of exchange as well as a measure of value. So commodities were used as money to serve the purpose of money. So the various commodities which were in greater demand at the time were animal skins, seashells, stone tools, then copper, gold, then alcohol, tobacco, etc. etc. So these were the commodities which had the most demand at that time. So these commodities served as money at that time. But the trade was essentially a part of barter trade. So students, the type of money used was commodity, but the system of exchange was essentially barter trade. So the first type of money which was used in the primitive times was commodity money. There are various advantages of commodity money. So students, the basic advantage of commodity money is that it serves two purposes. First, it can be used as a medium of exchange, and second, it can also be used because it has some utility of its own, right? For example, let us say the example of stone tools. So there are two ways by which these stone tools can be used. If a person feels that he doesn't need the stone tool, then he can exchange it with some other person for some other goods. So this is the first purpose that it serves. Secondly, if the person doesn't want to exchange the stone tool, and if he even wants to use the stone tool, he can even do that. So there are two purposes that commodity money serves. First, it can be used as a medium of exchange and a measure of value. Second, it can also be used by the person instead of exchanging it. Okay, so there are various advantages of commodity money. But students, as we all know, something which has advantages has its disadvantages as well. So the disadvantages of commodity money were difficulty in storing value. So the commodities, most of the commodities were very difficult to be stored for a longer period of time. So whatever commodities were exchanged, it was necessary that they should use the commodities right at that moment. Otherwise, the commodities might get spoiled or might get damaged. The second difficulty was in transferring the value, in transporting the goods from one place to another. Some of the goods were very bulky, were very huge in size. So it was very difficult to transfer them from place to place. The third difficulty associated with commodity money was lack of standard measure of value. So as we have come to know that different commodities were exchanged, tobacco, seashells, animal skins, but do you think their values are same? Can you compare the value of animal skin with the value of tobacco? Can you compare the value of a stone tool with the value of rice? No. So there was no common measure of value. There was no standard measure through which those commodities could be measured. Deferred payment also was not possible. That means those commodities cannot be used or could not be used to make payments at a future date, because as I have already told you, most of the commodities were non-durable or perishable in nature. Perishable means things which do not last long. So deferred payment also was not possible using commodity money. And the most difficult part was the problem of divisibility. Most of the commodities were very difficult to be divided. They were indivisible. So as I have already given you the example of elephant, if I can give you another example of other kettles, for example. So owing to these difficulties, the people felt that they need some other kind of money to serve their purpose. So the next type of money which was used by people were cattle money. So students, to overcome the difficulties that were associated with commodity money, people started using cattle money. So cattle money basically means the domesticated animals like buffaloes, like cows, or bulls, etc., which were used by people as money. And it was said that the first cattle which was used as money was cow. So cows were basically used as cattle money at that time, but later on people also started using other domesticated animals like goat, like buffalo, etc., as cattle money. Limitations of cattle money. So students, cattle money also had various limitations. The first limitation was need of double coincidence of want. So students, in case of cattle money also, this problem of double coincidence of wants existed, because it is not necessary that people want the cattle that you have. Even though you want the goods that they have, they might not always need the cattle that you have. So it became very difficult to exchange the cattle for the various goods and services. The second problem was lack of standard measure of value. So students, it was very difficult to have a common or a standard measure of value of these cattle. For example, we cannot compare the value of a goat with the value of a cow, or we cannot compare the value of a cow with the value of a buffalo. So there was not any uniform measure of value through which these cattle could be measured. The third problem was problem of storing value, because after 1 year you cannot be sure that your cattle will last long. They might die of some disease, they might die of some other reasons. So it was very difficult to store the value, that is the cattle money. The next problem was problem in making deferred payments. So students, since they are very difficult to be stored, so they are also very difficult to make deferred payments. One cannot depend solely on their cattle to make any kind of future payment. And the last problem was the problem of divisibility. It was very difficult to divide the value of these cattle. So cattle money also suffered from various limitations or disadvantages. So there come another form of money to overcome the limitations associated with cattle money. So the next form of money that was used by people at the time was metallic money. So in case of metallic money, various kinds of precious metals like gold, silver, etc. were used as money, were used as a medium of exchange. So this introduction of metal money solved the problem of transferring, storing and dividing value. So most of the difficulties that were associated with commodity money and cattle money were solved with the introduction of metallic money. Now the problem of transferring did not exist anymore, the problem of storing value did not exist anymore, and the problem of dividing value also did not exist anymore, because metallic money was very convenient or easy to be transferred, it was very easy to be stored, as well as it was very easy to be divided or to be broken into parts. And students, with the introduction of metallic money, this paved the way to the development of the modern coins. So gradually, with the passage of time, symbols were given in this metallic money, and these symbols helped in giving a standard measure of value to this metallic money. So earlier raw forms of metals were used, but with the passage of time, with the growth of civilization, people started adding symbols to this metallic money in order to give them a standard, in order to make them uniform. Okay, so this is how the metallic money transformed after a certain period of time. After then, students, after adding symbols, they were even improvised in terms of their weight, size and color. So in the previous picture you might have noticed that most of the coins, their shape was not very uniform. So with the passage of time, these coins were given proper shape, they were given proper weight, and their colors were also improvised. So with the passage of time, this metallic money, which was earlier used in a raw form, was first given various symbols, and later on it was improvised in terms of its weight, size and color. And students, after that, what happened? These coins were even more improvised, and this time what happened? Instead of using the very precious gold and silver, people started using some cheap metals like copper and nickel. So the old precious metals like gold and silver were gradually replaced by less expensive metals like copper and nickel. So these were the coins which gradually emerged, and in fact I have also seen these coins when I was some 4 or 5 years old. So students, this is how modern money made its way to the present time. So students, in our next class we shall be discussing about the modern form of money, the money that we are using now. So students, let us now do a recapitulation of what we did in our today's class. So today we began with the learning objectives. We came to know how this chapter is going to gain the knowledge about the various primitive forms of money. Not only that, this class will also enable us to know about the various features of these primitive forms of money. And then we began with the various forms of money. So the first form of money which was used in the primitive times was commodity money. So the various commodities which were in greater demand or which had some common utility or use were used as money by the people at that time. The second form of money was cattle money. So cattle money means the various domesticated animals were used to serve the purpose of money. But students, owing to the various difficulties associated with commodity money and cattle money, the people gradually led to the development of metallic money. So metallic money means the various precious metals like gold and silver were used to serve the purpose of money. With the passage of time, this metallic money were improvised. They were given symbols, and later on they were also modernized, or they were also standardized in terms of their weight, size and color, and this paved the way to the modern coins that we are using at the present point of time. So students, this is all about today's class. Today we came to know about the three primitive forms of money: commodity money, cattle money and metallic money. In our next class we shall be discussing about the present form of money. So students, on this note, this is all about today's class. I am going to end the video here. In case you have any doubt or difficulty, please let me know. I will surely help you. Okay then students, see you all in your next class. Thank you. Have a nice day and stay safe.